You advised me to yourself, and besides, I want to go abroad. However, they soon changed the subject, but all the same, the much too peculiar and still continuing uneasiness, in the observant prince's opinion, went beyond the limits, and there must have been something peculiar in it. So the poor knight is on the scene again? Yevgeny Pavlovitch asked, going up to Aglaya. To the prince's amazement, she gave him a perplexed and questioning look, as if wishing to let him know that there could be no talk of the poor knight between them and that she did not even understand the question. But it's too late to send to town for Pushkin now, too late. Kolya argued with Lizaveta Prokofyevna, spending his last strength. I've told you 3,000 times, it's too late. Yes, actually, it's too late to send to town now. Yevgeny Pavlovitch turned up here as well, hastening away from Aglaya. I think the shops are closed in Petersburg. It's past 8, he confirmed, taking out his watch. We've gone so long without thinking of it, we can wait till tomorrow, Adelaida put in. And it's also improper, Kolya added, for high society people to be too interested in literature. Ask Yevgeny Pavlovitch. Yellow carabancs with red wheels are much more proper. You're talking out of a book again, Kolya, observed Adelaida. But he never talks otherwise than out of books, Yevgeny Pavlovitch picked up. He expresses himself with whole sentences from critical reviews. I've long had the pleasure of knowing Nikolai Ardalionovich's conversation, but this time he's not talking out of a book. Nikolai Ardalionovich is clearly hinting at my yellow charabanc with red wheels. Only I've already traded it. You're too late. The prince listened to what Radomsky was saying. It seemed to him that he bore himself handsomely, modestly, cheerfully, and he especially liked the way he talked with such perfect equality and friendliness to Kolya, who kept provoking him. What's that? Lizaveta Prokofyevna turned to Vera, Lebedev's daughter, who stood before her holding several books of a large format, beautifully bound and nearly new. Pushkin, said Vera. Our Pushkin. Papa told me to offer it to you. How so? How is it possible? Lizaveta Prokofyevna was surprised. Not as a gift, not as a gift. I wouldn't dare. Lebedev popped out from behind his daughter's shoulder. For what it cost, ma'am. It's our family Pushkin, Anankov's edition, 32, which is even impossible to find now. For what it cost, ma'am. I offer it to you with reverence, wishing to sell it and thereby satisfy the noble impatience of your Excellency's most noble literary feelings. Ah, you're selling it? Then I thank you. No fear of you not getting your own back. Only please do stop clowning, my dear. I've heard about you. They say you're very well read. We must have a talk someday. Will you bring them home for me yourself? With reverence and deference. Lebedev, extraordinarily pleased, went on clowning, snatching the books from his daughter. Well, just don't lose them on me. Bring them without deference if you like. But only on one condition, she added, looking him over intently. I'll let you come as far as the threshold, but I have no intention of receiving you today. Your daughter Vera you may send right now, though, I like her very much. Why don't you tell him about those men? Vera asked her father impatiently. They'll come in by themselves if you don't. They're already making noise. Lev Nikolaevich, she turned to the prince, who had already picked up his hat. Some people came to see you quite a while ago now, 4 men. They're waiting in our part and they're angry. But Papa won't let them see you. What sort of visitors? Asked the prince. On business, they say, only they're the kind that, if you don't let them in now, they'll stop you on your way. Better to let them in now, Lev Nikolaevich, and get them off your neck. Gavrila Ardalionovich and Tin are trying to talk sense into them, but they won't listen. Pavlishev's son. Pavlishev's son. Not worth it, not worth it. Lebedev waved his arms. It's not worth listening to them, sir, and it's not proper for you, illustrious prince, to trouble yourself for them. That's right, sir. They're not worth it. Pavlishev's son. My God! Cried the prince in extreme embarrassment. I know, But I entrusted that affair to Gavrila Ardalionovich. Gavrila Ardalionovich just told me. But Gavrila Ardalionovich had already come out to the terrace. Tin followed him. In the nearest room noise could be heard, and the loud voice of General Ivolgin, as if he were trying to outshout several other voices. Kolya ran at once to where the noise was. "That's very interesting," Yevgeny Pavlovich observed aloud. "So he knows about it," thought the prince. "What, Pavlishchev's son? And, how can there be any Pavlishchev's son?" General Ivan Fyodorovich asked in perplexity, looking around curiously at all the faces and noticing with astonishment that this new story was unknown to him alone. Indeed, the excitement and expectation were universal. The prince was deeply astonished that an affair so completely personal to himself could manage to interest everyone there so strongly. "It would be very good if you ended this affair at once and yourself," said Aglaya, going up to the prince with some sort of special seriousness, "and let us all be your witnesses." "They want to besmirch you, Prince. You must triumphantly vindicate yourself, and I'm terribly glad for you beforehand." "I also want this vile claim to be ended finally," Mrs. Epanchin cried. "Give it to them good, Prince, don't spare them." "I had my ears stuffed with this affair, and there's a lot of bad blood in me on account of you." "Besides, it will be curious to have a look."